Hi everyone, welcome to my quilting life. I'm Tiffany and today's video is Sunday, obviously, but today's video is just going to be a little bit different because I'm not feeling so great. So I am going to talk about storage and organization. Since I already said I was going to make a video of this anyway, it's easier if I just do it live, because then if you have any questions, you can ask me while I'm live. So, working? Okay. So yeah, today is Sunday, the 11th of August, and wow, this year has gone by quick. I'm pretty sure most of you have noticed I posted a video earlier about it's a time lapse making a whole entire quilt. That was 27 hours of recording. Lots and lots and lots of work. And there was a lot of stops and breaks. Obviously, I didn't sew for 27 hours straight. That would be idiotic. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. That would be super crazy. So, hi, Diane. Hi, June. I'm from my laptop, by the way. And I have the laptop purposely for this video in the center of my room so that I can kind of just turn the camera. My stand broke, so it's not staying up high. Go figure. So it's low. So today's video is going to kind of be poopy, the way I feel, because I have to turn the camera from the laptop screen up and down when I'm explaining something, just to show you guys. Hi, damn it, Janet. Hi, Lacey. So yeah, just to warn you guys, I'm going to tip it as best as I can, but the turning part shouldn't be bad. So let me move this mouse up under there now that I'm done with it. So I'm sitting in my little lounge chair. I literally do not feel very good today. I have a stomach ache. It's a bad one. I have acid. That's bad too. And everything else that the world doesn't need to know, but it's just annoying. But I'm in always a good mood, so I try to just do what I gotta do. So anyways, I'm gonna get started on storage and organization for you guys. So yeah. Oh no, it definitely sucks when I don't feel good. So we're gonna start with going the way this door turns. Instead of towards the sewing machine, we're going to go this way. Because a lot of you, you've seen my room, but it's pretty organized, to say the least. There are some things out of place. It happens. It does get messy. My room gets vacuumed a lot, which I think my room is why our wonderful $1,000 Kirby vacuum stinks. Like, literally, it stinks. It smells like it's burning up, rotten. I didn't have that problem in the garage because I had concrete in the garage and I could just sweep up my thread messes and all that. But in here, it's hard to get down on the floor when you have thread everywhere and pick up every individual long thread, and sometimes you even miss it. But it's hard to pick it all up off of carpet. So first storage and organization tip is, if you have a room with carpet, get rid of it. You don't need it. Put down those, I know they sell those little mat things. They're like a plastic thing. I remember my grandma had them. They were runners that went across the house, and they had little grippies, and she put them on her carpet. If you could find those, I would 100% suggest them, because if I could find them, I would totally have them in my room here, because that would have solved a lot of problems with my vacuum and fighting with it to clean this mess up. So first tip on, I guess that would be the organizing part, is having some kind of flooring, tile, wood flooring, or something that's easier to clean, because carpet is not a quilter's friend. It's just not at all. Baked or mashed potatoes for the acid. I should eat baked or mashed potatoes for acid, because every time I eat potatoes, it gets worse. Have fun with the kids. Give them a little seed. Yeah, I could just wrap them up in duct tape backwards and just roll them around the floor. That would work. Yeah. All right, so we're going to start this way. So you guys know that I am a pre-cut fan, and I know a lot of you guys are. How do you store your pre-cuts? Well, I personally enjoy having mine. Okay, so now we're going to do some moving. I personally enjoy mine being visible. I don't want them in a tub. I don't want them in something where they're hiding and I don't get to see what's here. So I don't know if this is considered storage or organization, but for the keeping the clutter nice and pretty, because that's what our fabric is nice and pretty, I would suggest, and I got this out of the trash, this little antique shelf. I mean, it's really old solid wood and it's put together with old nails, and I had to fix the little end that chipped off. It was in the trash. And I cleaned it up, and it is now a little shelf in my room where I store my jelly rolls. And this is jelly roll only shelf, which is overflowing, -1 because I just used one like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, this is how I store it. So I'm going to tip the camera so you can see the full shelf. There's a little lamp on top, and then the jelly rolls go to the bottom. And then I don't keep it on the floor. That's just a bag of my daughter's clothing making stuff, which is on to the next shelf. So we're going to go this way. I don't really sew clothing, and you guys know that, but I do happen to have stuff to make it if I felt like it. Yes, Dan, I could eat rice. Rice doesn't mess up my belly. No toilet bowl brush swiped over the carpet picks up threads before vacuuming. This tip was given to me this top was given to me when I got my long arm. Okay, yeah, I could try something like that. I can get it at the dollar store. Great tip. Thank you for sharing that. So this shelf is specifically for all of anything that's clothing fabric. This is definitely not quilting fabrics at all. Trust me, I tried. It was actually this one right here. I went to press it, and it literally melted to my iron. So yeah, make sure when you get fabrics, especially if they're used fabrics from Goodwill stores and stuff like that, make sure it's cotton for quilting when you go to quilt stuff, because some fabrics will burn. But this one did, and this was a long time ago when I learned that lesson. So, but yeah, I try to keep all of it bolted up and together. So if you have separate fabrics and you're not just a quilter, make sure that you keep them in a specific area so that you're not mixing your apparel fabrics with your quilting cottons. So there's storage and organization tip number 2, keeping different fabric types completely separate. Hi, Pamela. How much were the fabric rolls you used in the Jacob ladder? I used 2 rolls, and they're $19.99 each at Tuesday morning. See, this is why I did this live, so you guys can actually ask questions and we can chit chat and stuff. All right, so let's move to where this part of the camera is seen. Next to shelves. If you have a lot of books, keep them in the same area, because if you put, a bazillion books here and a bazillion books over there and a bazillion books over there, you're not going to be able to find the one you're specifically looking for. Or if you just want to try something new and you remembered you had that book, they're all on the same shelf. So here's another tip for me. Keep your books all in the same area. I just so happen to have all my books except for my Missouri Star books, which are on another shelf. All of my books are in one spot. It has become so much easier for me when I have to reference something from a book to find it in one spot. So there's another tip for you guys. It is easier to reference and find, oh, hey, I remembered I want to do this, and I can't remember the measurements. There's the book for it. You know what I mean? It's right there. You're not digging through everything going, where did it go? And if you don't have a big space or lots of shelves like I do, and you're just in a corner of a room, or if you're sewing in your kitchen, make sure your quilting books are on your bookshelves in your house. If you have regular bookshelves in your living room, make sure that your quilting ones are all in just one area. That way you're not digging through all your Stephen King and romance novels and all your, Dean Koontz novels and say, where in the heck is that quilting book I was looking for? That way they're all in one specific area. Okay? Next, this shelf. This is my throw it shelf. Like, it literally, I throw things here. These little tubs keep notion thingies in it, like pins. Okay, so here's all the, it's a little tub. I'll just show you. Good morning, Christine. For you, for me, it's evening. These are my sewing needles. These are the specific ones that are for jeans and stuff like that. So these are like my jean needles. I don't know how well you can see that, but these are for the sewing machine. These are for jeans and sewing thick things. These are not my average everyday 90 14s or anything like that. These are my whatever ones. And then I keep, you know, little tubs of pins. I got the little itty bitty tiny pins that don't hurt anything. Like you can sew over them. And then I have my big pins. You know, I keep all the little notions, binding clips up in here in a little tub. All sorts of stuff and little things. I got, you know, those little household kits of thread. I tend to throw all the sewing needles in one and the thread, if I can move my little glove things, and the thread and metal bobbins because they have thread on them and none of my machines take metal. All the little threads from those little sewing kits go in another. So if I need to like hand sew something, although that's very rare for me, if my daughter comes over and needs to, it's right there. I also keep things that aren't an everyday use on this shelf, like my attic quarter seam rulers. I keep these separate because that way they're not in the same place. So if I do any paper piecing, these rulers stay totally separate from the rest. And like specialty rulers like these little equilateral triangles and stuff, these ones stay separate over here because these don't have markings on them. These are, somebody cut these specifically to make things, I guess. I don't know. And I just so happen to get them from a quilt show thingamabobber. So I keep all that kind of stuff, my quilters, gloves, you know. I even keep a box opener if I need it right here, just because it's a higher out of the kids' hands. So let's move up to the next shelf. So now you guys can see me better. I hate the time, no longer drive Tuesday morning. Oh, you want to go to Tuesday morning, but you can't. Okay. I have cookbooks and recipes in the pantry. $3 away. Okay. All right. Hi, Vicki. All right. So the next shelf, layer cakes. Now you guys can store your layer cakes however you want. I prefer to keep them flat like this because, and I'll take this down so you can see. When they're on a shelf like this and you stack them this way, you see what's happening to the fabric there? It's bunching it up, and sooner or later it'll start to fall this way like that. It just happens. It's just how it works. I keep my layer cakes stacked flat like this. So you can still see the color variations if you remember which one it was and you know what project it was for or whatever. And all the newest ones always go on the, I always try to lift the stack and put the newest ones on the bottom that way, unless I had a plan for it. But I stack mine like this. I never stick them upright because then they just get ruined, and I don't want to ruin them. I don't want to have to press them all over again or whatever. You know, it's a hassle. And then this shelf is projects that I designed patterns for. And it's just sitting here waiting for me to decide whether I want to do it now or not. As well as I keep these little papers here, you know, when you triangles on a roll type thing. I keep all that up here. And my husband actually went and got me from the dollar store these because I want to do a rag quilt. So he got me little snip things from the dollar store. They were actually in a free pile, a bunch of gardening stuff. And he's like, I knew you said you needed something that, you know, is easy on your hands. So he got me these so I could do a rag quilt. Secondarily to all of this stuff is patterns. Now, books are one thing, but patterns is a totally different thing. All these are patterns. I keep all my cozy quilt design patterns, you know, whatever I have all together. I keep the bigger patterns, the paper piecing patterns. I keep other paper piecing patterns. They're all, you know, with their little booklets in the wrappers. I keep them in the wrappers. I don't take them out. All on one shelf. I keep my personal journals that I had gotten as a gift from Anna up here. And my personal patterns that I write that I'm getting ready to do, they stay here. When I'm done writing them, they go in this folder right here, are the ones that I've written. So I'll just open it so you guys can see my whole stack of I've written patterns. There's a ton of them. They're all just in here. And then these are other patterns that were printed on paper. As well as up here, I know you guys can't see it well, but there's a box that this is all my patterns as well. This is all my scribblings is what I call it. I scribble it down, I jot it down, and the paper goes in there. I know what it says, but you guys won't. So that's why it hasn't been written as a pattern and sold, because, well, only I can understand it. So yeah, I try to keep all that together. So keeping your patterns together and things like that. That way you're not losing it. And now if you say you got a layer cake and you got a pattern to go with it, keep that layer cake with that pattern. That's always good. You could just take a little piece of tape it to the plastic wrap that's on the layer cake. That works too. Hi, Terry. Okay, same kind of bookshelf. Okay, so we're going to move over now. Just up here, like I said, I keep tissue paper up here. I know you guys can't see, but I use tissue paper. I also keep my I guess they're called cheater rolls. I've never used them. They're these like things that I do a better meander than that. So, but these are like cheater meander paper. I don't see how, I don't know. I think you just cut them out and you tape it, or I mean, iron it to wherever, and then you, it glues to the paper and you just pull over it. It's for beginners. I'm not a beginner at that anymore. So they just stay on a shelf in case somebody says, oh, hey, I need that. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to move over and I'm going to tip it down right here. So here is my portable, one of my portable little units that I have going on here. I was watching USA Gymnastics before. Tiffany came on. Sewing room is small, very small bedroom, not much space, but I try to keep it as organized as possible so that it works for you. Yeah, definitely keep it organized. That way it's easy to find things. So here is where this is a roll around. Usually it's farther back, but my long arm, let me pass over the camera real quick. My long arm is actually where you can see this big lump. It's under this blanket back here, keeping it from getting all dusty, and behind this box so that the girls can't get to it, because I know you guys have seen that the babies come in my room in here. So yeah, I try to hide it back there for now. All right. I love gymnastics too. I used to be a gymnast. All right, so storage, I keep all threads together. Like, I just throw all the colors in one area. It's best to do that too. I know some people say they organize by color, have one of those little shelf things. I do not. I just keep it all in one area. I am 100% all for making my own pre-cuts. So here's my drawer of fat quarters, as well as like I was trying to design something and I wrote down that these were mistake sizes, so they can just be thrown into a quilt sooner or later, like a really crappy quilt. But this is my fat quarter drawer, and it's all marked. I put tape with writing, so that way I can remove the paper tape if I want to put something different in the drawer in the future. And then, let's see, this one's novelty fabrics. And when I say novelty, I mean like this right here. This is what makes me hungry. This fabric has chocolate on it. That's definitely a novelty print. Look, strawberries covered in chocolate, guys. Like, don't you get starving when you look at fabric like this? So this was supposed to be for a little table runner, but I haven't done it yet. I just like stick them all in little piles and wait until I finally do it. And then obviously more food fabrics and Christmas and stuff. I keep them all together. That's my organizing way of doing things. I try to keep everything I can together. Yes, they were playing with my yardstick. Crazy kids. Then here's all cuts Okay, you guys know what fabric samples are, right? Well, when I go to the quilt show every year, let me put my face down here because I feel weird talking to nothing. So every year I go to the quilt show and they have a quilter's yard sale. So previous quilters or family members that have died that were quilters, or donations from family members who were quilters and they don't quilt no more, or something happened and they need to unload. Well, I shop that yard sale and get loads and loads of fabric. And pretty much every time I randomly end up with sample fabric. So, you know, a sample fabric thing comes on a wood board thing and you can fold it or open it, and it has a bunch of squares of every single size of every color way that's in a fabric line. And they always come in pieces like this with big, huge pinked edges. And they're always like hooked like this on a little thing. I know these don't go together per se, but they'll be in the size order, you know, like biggest to smallest on a fabric sample thing. And well, I pull those off and I reuse them for scrap quilts. And I always press them because it always comes in this big jumbled mess. And I fill my drawer with them so that I can use them in case maybe I have a quilt and a piece of fabric got ruined or I was shy something. I can actually come in here and go, oh, hey, that looks like it goes with that line. And I have it. So I have stacks and stacks. This is not even this is one of like many drawers of fabric samples that I get every year. And it's great to have them because, like I said, scrap quilts, as well as if something gets ruined, especially, all go in one place. Again, here is another one. Oh, here's how they come right here. Here's a whole order of fabric samples. So they come like this. See that? So you get a little bit of every color, you know, from the line in a sample. And I actually use these things. And that's what those two baby quilts I called twinsies that I made a while back, those were actually made of fabric samples. So like this whole drawer, see that? All fabric samples. Every single one of these. So if I needed pinks, I got pinks, you know, and polka dots and stripes. If I needed browns, I got browns. If I need some batiks, I think my batiks are in a totally different drawer, but I have those. And then the side of this drawer, I keep cuts gone wrong. You know, when you're cutting fabric and the ruler slips because not all rulers have a grip on it and they're not whatever. Every once in a while, I'll get a fabric slip and a boo-boo. Those boo-boos get trimmed to a smaller size to get rid of the little boo-boo and straighten it out. And then I just throw all those random sizes in here. And these are edge to edge or selvage to selvage end pieces. So I keep all of that together. That is definitely me organizing like OCD because I keep all that together. And then turn it down just a little bit more. I'm probably missing oh, there it is right there. I was like, where did I put my phone? So again, I keep anything that is smaller than a half a yard in these drawers folded up like this. So this piece, like if I opened it up, it's not a half a yard. So there's not, you know what I mean? It's selvage to selvage, but I keep them folded up nicely. And then I just kind of pull one out of the way and stack the other down the side. So that way it fits down in here. Like that. You know, I'm kind of running out of room, but these little roll arounds are easy because you can like throw it in a closet, which was where this normally is. But I keep all these that are not fully a half a yard, but more than a quarter yard, if that makes any sense. And again, same with this bottom drawer. It's all not a half a yard fabrics, just all in one area. I keep it together. The drawer is marked so I can see. All right, let's move. Oh, I'm going to come this way now, and I'm going to keep it low for a second. So this box is all quilts inside of here. It's kind of serving the purpose of hiding my machine for now, but this is my quilt box, and then I kind of just started piling my customer quilt project right here, if you could see that. My comments went away. Oh, there they are. Keep your threads separated by each sewing thread different place, serger thread different place, embroidery thread in its own place. That's good too to do that if you have space. I don't have a serger and I don't need serger thread. I don't need any of that kind of stuff, so I don't have to separate it all. All right, so let's move this up. Again, I keep bolts, and I've told you guys this before. If the store has a sale, like Walmart or Hobby Lobby or Joann's or something, and say you get 50% off of one item or whatever, one purchase, like most of the coupons are, if the fabric on the bolt is on sale and I get it, you know, with a coupon or whatever, I'll just buy everything that's on the bolt if I like it. I'll just buy the rest of the bolt because I'm getting it on sale, so it's still 50% cheaper than it would have been, or 60% cheaper, or however that, you know, sale is. So in those instances, the store lets you take the bolt, and most stores, Walmart I know does. If you go into the fabric department and ask if you can have some of the empty bolts, they'll give them to you. So if you want to be able to store large quantities of fabric, so you have more than 8 yards, I would say go get some bolts to store them on. I know it's a little bit harder to store a bolt because they do take up a lot more shelf space, but for me personally, I have found it easier because these are, again, you know, for me, it's easier to see what's on them as opposed to the other way of bolting. And I'll show you in a second because I have to turn the camera all the way around because my thing is getting tangled. So give me 2 seconds to turn this all the way around real quick. All right. My cord was getting tangled. All right, so let's move it up so you can get 2 views from this side. So this is the other way I bolt things, and you guys have asked me about this before. Several of you actually, and one even in a comment. What are these little tabs? It's not that I'm OCD. Well, maybe I am. It's not that I'm OCD. I like to be able to go, okay, this looks great with my project. And I'll look and go, oh, but then I don't have enough. You know what I mean? I make sure I press all my fabrics before putting them on these comic book cards. But I'll make sure, okay, this is 2 yards. So my little sticky note says 2 yards. After I've pulled, say, a 1/4 yard off of it, I take that sticky note off. And if I pull off a good number that I can actually remember, say I pulled 1 yard off, then I'll just tear it and write 1 yard left. You know what I mean? But if I have to use quite a bit of it and I don't feel like doing the math right now, that's what the ones that don't have little tabs on it. It's because I used it, and later when I get a chance, I'll reopen it back up, which is quite easy. It doesn't take very long. Measure how much is on it, and then put a new little sticky tab, which you can buy these darn little things at the dollar store. I rip them in half, like unsticky them in half, and then I take my rotary cutter and I cut the thing in half so that I have just little itty bitty squares to stick on here. So these are, you can get 5 or 6 of them for $1 at the dollar store. Pretty cheap. So it's helped with organizing 100%, putting the little tabs on here to know how much I have left. So I bolt on comic book cards, and I think I've told you guys that before. It comes in a thing, you can buy them on Amazon. They look like this. They're acid free, something else free, or whatever. One side's smooth, the other side's rough. I use these. I ran out though. I don't have enough. So I've been just getting the bolts from Walmart so that I can just use them because I'm out of these things. Every time I empty, which I just did for the video that you guys saw, I just emptied some, so I have some left, which I'll re-bolt stuff on. So I definitely try to keep my fabric organized. These are anything prints. So I don't know how you guys are about this, but I keep flower prints with flower prints, polka dots with polka dots, stripes with stripes. They are not in a special colorway. Like if you guys watch Jean True Love's videos, how she has it all in a color coordinated thing. I kind of like it scattered in a way. I like to keep my flowers with flowers and stripes with stripes and polka dots and mini this and mini that all together. But if I put it in a colorway, then I'm not going to see the color that I'm looking for because it's all in one jumbled mess. When I have it this way, I can go, I need a brown flower print. I can go, okay, there's a brown flower print. And then I would scroll through, there's another brown. You know what I mean? It's easier to find what I'm looking for. If all the brown flower prints were together, then I would lose my choice. I wouldn't be able to go, oh, okay, I like that better. So that's my little side trip. Getting dizzy, sorry. Yes, I'm in Arizona. I go to my Arizona local Quilters Guild quilt show, and then every second year, every 2 years, is a big show where we have judges come in and booths set up and long arm people come into town and all sorts of stuff come and set everything up. It's pretty cool. So yeah, now that we're up a little bit higher, this is my closet. Some of you make quilt tops and make a lot of them. And I know some of you just fold them up and they end up like this. This is not really what you're supposed to do with them. I have found that I have way more wrinkles and have a lot more pressing to do when it just sits like this. So I got this on a tip on Pinterest or something like that. Hangers are cheap. Hang it. Fold it up nicely on the floor. Yes, this is the one I just made. And I folded it inside out so that the threads can fall off instead of the nice side getting dusty, because it does get dusty here in Arizona. And then I take a sticky note and I put the size. So this is 87 by 99. I put the size on it so that I know prior to taking it out of my stack in the closet, I know how big my backing needs to be. So I'm like, okay, I want to do this one. Before I take it off the hanger, I already know how big my backing needs to be, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to just pull one more so you can see. Some of them get folded right side, some of them don't. You guys saw this if you're in the group, and I write on here the name of it. Some of them I name and I didn't write a pattern for, I just named it, and 60 by 60. But it fits nicely on a hanger, you know? It's perfect. And then if it's way heavy, it's like that big one, and it doesn't fit, I double hanger. So I'll fold it in half on the hanger and take a second hanger and do that with it. That way it's just hanging nicely. And it still gets a little tag on the hanger, you know, that says the size and the name of it. Sometimes it says the name of the pattern. Sometimes it just says the size. And then I have some where I already have the backing fabric. And I keep the backing fabric next to the quilt that it goes with. That way I don't go, oh, hey, what is that for? Oops. So this is definitely an organizing trick, keeping your backing fabric. If you've already gotten the backing fabric, this is a 108. That's the reason why I was able to already have it. It's good to keep them together, or else you're going to be searching for the life of you. Where in the heck did I put that? I know I bought it, and then you're going to buy it again, and then you're going to be like, oh, that sucks. Trust me, I already done it. So yeah, all these get hung up nicely in here. They usually don't hang this far down. And usually I don't have to reach, but my long arm is in the way, guys. And then obviously you've seen the biggest one. That's right there. That's the other one that I did in the boutiques. All right. Up on the top of this shelf, I keep patterns for sewing clothes. They're way up there because I don't sew clothes. But I have patterns in case I really, really, really want to try. Yeah, I know I'm horrible. All right, let's move this way now. So this long thing is big, long. I don't know if it was an entertainment stand or something, but I utilize every part of it. So this is junk. Oh, and rotary cutter blades and junk. Oh, and some tape. Wait. And some glue sticks. I just keep those kind of things together. This is all buttons and this stuff, pre-made binding stuff, whatever it is. I don't know. I've never used it yet because it's for clothing. And ribbon buttons. There's lots of buttons. I have a lot of buttons. And we have lace and I think this is for cross stitching. I'm not sure. Some things get given to me. But I definitely have lace and beads. Like I saw a quilt that had some stuff on it and I was like, maybe I should try that. That's kind of cool. And rickrack, I guess I have some of that too. And weird random craft stuff. But we're going to the storage part of things. This is one of my fat quarter tubs. So I mark every tub. So this one has tape on it that says half yard cuts and fat quarter bundle sets. So these are the sets that are in one place. So that way sets stay together, you know, in one area. So I try to keep things as organized as possible. And then I have the half yard cuts, which they correspond. The half yard cuts correspond with the fat quarter bundles. Wow, I couldn't get that out. And then this one, again, it's painter's tape. So if I use everything in this tub, then I can go ahead and use it for something else and just rip the painter's tape off with no sticky residue and put more stuff in it. So this one is 5-inch squares, which I ran out almost. I only have like this many packages left. And then fat quarters. So I got fat quarters that are rolled that I haven't done nothing with yet. Usually I fold them up nicely and press them, but I haven't got that far. Sometimes I don't get that far. Again, more fat quarter bundles all in one tub. I try to keep it all together, you know. And then like if I bought stuff to go, I gotta pull that down so the lid don't stay. If I bought fat quarters all to go with a half yard cut and I chose a different half yard cut, I'll put that with it. So that way it stays with it for a specific project, because this was supposed to be a ladybug quilt that I was going to do. I just haven't done it yet. So I try to keep, again, all of it together, and I mark the case so it says what's on it, but I can remove it at any time. I do keep other random stuff shoved up in here. Here's pre-cut stuff, our project to do. I keep my batiks separate. I don't know about you guys, but you guys know me. I love to make stuff in batiks. I keep all my batiks separate. This is just one of 3 tubs, but I try to keep them all separate. And this one doesn't have a lid. I don't know what happened to the lid. It disappeared. So I try to keep those separate. As well as you guys have seen this and you've all asked me, this is my pre-cut, I'm not going to even take the whole thing down. It's heavy. This is my pre-cut 2.5-inch strip tub. You can see my hand against it. It's a big tub. See that? Takes up a lot of space. And it's very heavy. This thing is literally filled to the brim with 2.5-inch strips. So if a pattern calls for, say, 62 prints to 62 strips, like a cozy quilt pattern, and I only have one jelly roll, I can actually dig through here and fill the rest of it up with no problem. So I make my own, and it's labeled as well. And then that's what this was. That's why I had that there, because that was supposed to be its lid. All right, let me tip it up now because we finished. Oh, wait, what do I have over here? Hold on, CJ. Oh, receipts. Okay, just turn it. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of like to know how much I spent throughout the year. So I keep all my receipts to everything I buy, fabric, quilting, anything related, all in one area. So that at the end of the year, I can take them all out, add them up, and go, oh my God, I really spent that much? Ah! I could have bought a brand new car. And then this is all my fuzzy fabrics in here. I keep them separate because these collect a lot of dust. So I keep all the really super fuzzy. They were already they weren't on a bolt already, so I kind of have to keep them in a drawer. The ones on a bolt I don't keep in a drawer. All right. Then the rest of the shelf, obviously you guys see my TV. I just got these tubs from the dollar store. Oh my God, go to your dollar store. I don't know if all of you guys are the same, but ours, just at the Dollar General, I think. No, not Dollar General. Dollar Tree. Maybe it's called Dollar Tree. I don't know. We just got a whole shipment of freaking tons. I mean, of little containers, baskets, you name it. They're not, I mean, they're not horrible. They're kind of flimsy, but they're pretty solid. And I like to keep, like, here's the leftovers from the project that you guys just saw the video of, the churn dash video. These are the 2 little leftover squares from it, and all the leftover fabric that I set aside. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I set aside a pretty good chunk of the fat quarter because I only used a little bit from every single one of them. There's about 8 inches left from every one. So there's 20 strips that are 8 inches, and I put them all together. And then the previous project with the batiks, that's in here too. So that way I keep it, because I already have a plan for the one that I just did's leftovers. So I pre-planned that one. These tubs, I'll show you in a second why I actually have some randomly sitting here, but all this other stuff I keep thread together again, but these are the big spools, so they don't fit in that container over there. Let me grab my phone so I can see comments. And then I keep all these, this whole shelf right here are my old prints. These are things that predate, I would say, 1995 and before. So there's like 1 or 2 in here that are from like 1945. So these are my really, really, really old prints. I rarely use them. That they just kind of sit here and look nice. And then I keep all my panels together. Anything panel related, panels all stay. I have another tub down there that hasn't made it to the shelf yet. Panels, just tons and tons of panels. I have so many panels coming out my brains. But yeah, they're all kind of specific though in nature. All these right here, from here to here, is all precious moments, or very, very childy, precious moments, almost-ish type stuff. So yeah, I keep all those together. And we're gonna move this way to a corner that's really bright, and I'm very sorry for that. Let's see. Is that better? Okay. Here's those tubs I was talking about, and we'll get to that in just a second, but here's the rest of the bolts that are on fabric. These are novelty prints, and then my solids. I do keep solids together. So as you can tell, they're kind of in color order, but solids are a little bit different than printed fabrics. So my area choose. You can give me precious moments. I love precious moments. Cool, Sandy. Yeah, I love them too. When I was a kid, my aunt was obsessed. She had figurines, everything. I just like them because they're adorable. But I have donation plans for them, so they're just waiting for me to finally get to it. I got to throw them on. They all have backing fabric and everything. They just got to get thrown on the long arm and get batting and quilted and stuff. So, but yeah, novelty prints. I think I've told you guys that before. Above here is more tubs. Like, I do use these tubs for everything. So here's Brother sewing machine parts. All my parts are in one spot, so they're easy to find for my machine. And then I have another tub up here that has, if I can get it out, these are old wood spools of thread. Let's see if I can even open it so you guys can see they're all nicely in here. My wooden spools. I decided to keep them separate because they were cool. So I have my little thing of wooden spools from Belding something company, and more Belding. Some with no names because the stickers come off, you know. But yeah, I have a lot of little wooden spool ones. I kind of like them as collector. I know the thread probably isn't even good on them, but I like them. And then I have really cool stand up here as well, but it's got nothing in it right now. All right, and then before I get to these, because these take a minute, demonstration goes with these. So my stomach is really killing me. Here is random. This was last year's fabric haul up here, this shelf, and a little bit right here from last year's quilt show. And I'm sorry about the light, guys. I can't do anything about it. If I turn it off, then you're not going to see me at all. But last year's, I had nowhere to put it all. And I ran out of the bolts that I use, like back here, these comic book cards. So I started using the stuff from the dollar store, the oh my goodness, bulletin board making stuff. I forgot what it's called again. Every time, I always forget the name of it. Whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Here's my Missouri Star books, by the way. The only thing I keep separate is these because I like these. No. I keep my batik rolls right here, and then more of those fabric sample things.
Oh, Justin's on here. I'm talking to him on the phone. I could have just talked to him on here.
There's another one of my little tubs of batiks. And I showed you guys when I got this little tub because this came from a garage sale. This is actually made of like a porcelain or something. I don't know, but here's more batiks. And I try to keep them all separate and together.
Did they all like your sped up video?
Yes.
Your super fast one? I like those ones. I think they're cool.
I have up here on this shelf, I know you guys can't see very well because of lighting, but I have more fat quarter bundles. But these are ones that I have already planned something with. So I stuck them up here so that I can find easier to find them. And then more bolts down here. And then we can get to pre-cuts now because I definitely am a pre-cut girl. Let me put that back up there. All right, so let's get to these tubs because I know you guys are curious how I do this. Lots and lots of tubs. So you're wondering why I have them all and what's up with that? Well, it's my middle of the night. Give me something to do during insomniac time. So it gets marked. So these are 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch squares. This lighting really sucks. Let me see if I can't. Oh, that doesn't even work. But these are 2.5 inch squares, all pre-cut. And this is just one of many. Is that lighting better, guys, by the way? Let's see if I turn just one on. Oh, that's okay. So I have 2.5 inch solid squares mixed with 2.5 inch strips that are random length because some were from 45 inch or not 45, 60 inch length fabric cuts and stuff for full length prints. And I can move these around because I can see them anytime. So here's 1.5 inch strips. This whole tub is 1.5 inch strips. This is like perfect for scrappy log cabins. Like it's already cut. It's ready to go. And I'll tell you guys and show you guys how I get this stuff. So we got 1.5, 2.5, 2.5 solids, 2.5 inch squares, 2.5 inch squares, 2.5 inch solid strips again, which kind of didn't fit in my other 2.5 inch tub. I have 4.5, 4 inch, 3.5. I have loads and loads of fat quarters that I make myself. More fat quarters, half yard cuts that are really, these are ones that I bought. They had to have somewhere to go. 5 inch full length strips, 5 inch squares, 5 inch squares. Both of these are, I ran out of room in one, so I needed another. 5 inch squares of solid, 8.5 inch squares. The reason for 8.5, I know it's the randomest size for 8.5 inch squares, but they are for making 4 at a time flying geese, actually. Then we have 10 inch squares, and then down at the bottom, I keep all my started projects. So I think I've showed you guys this before, but I keep it, if I started a pineapple block like this, I keep all the pieces that were for it and the blocks I made because I got frustrated in one tub, and then I mark it and date it. So I started this January of 2016, guys. You see that? And I have yet to finish my pineapple. I got the pineapple ruler now. I was doing this before the ruler, before I got that. Let's see. We have another started project. Like this one is the whole top. The whole top is in here, but I needed a border and I didn't border it yet. So organizing wise, I kept it together with its sister project because this one has its sister project. There's two of the same. You guys probably remember me putting this together in a video. I started it a long time ago. It sat in a box because I got frustrated. Again, I get frustrated really easily. But this one is in here. Oh, here's its sister one. Its sister one is in a different box. All the pieces are in here. I made one block and I said, wait a second, I don't want to do that. So I have a whole entire thing cut up and ready to go of what I call the sister project, because one was a boy and one was for a girl originally. And I never completed them. I started these in January of 2016 as well.
Do you want me to move the camera in closer or anything?
No, it's fine
Where?
right there. I want it just
Okay.
like that.
Well, let me know if you need anything now that we're back from the grocery store.
Okay. So one of these days I will finish this stuff. But yeah, I keep them in tubs. I know a lot of you do the same thing, keep your projects in tubs, especially like ones that you're working on. But I have quite a few started projects. There's more buried in here. I have a special tub where I throw leftover binding that's already pre-pressed. If you ever need binding for something small like a pot holder, it's already made. This tub right here is actually my current customer's project quilt scraps. I didn't have another tub to put it in, so I put it in a Christmas cookie tub or popcorn tub. Thank you, Justin, for that one, because that was the popcorn tub. So how do I get all this? In the middle of the night when I can't sleep, and I'm going to turn the camera up so that you can see what I'm talking about, to my cutting area. I'm really going to have to turn that light off. All right. So when I can't sleep in the middle of the night, I come in here and I'm like, I don't really want to sew because it's too loud and I don't want to wake anyone or disturb anyone, but I'm not in the mood to design anything. I kind of just have no whatever. I come in here, I grab this tub, this little basket, and this is full of, what do you do with it? I mean, really, what do you do with it? Cuts. Everything is already pressed. So I come and I go through it and I go, let's grab one that I see a lot of. I think, what can I cut out of this much fabric? Okay. And I'll lay it here and go, well, there's probably like 18 inches on this one because this kind of looks like a fat quarter gone wrong. So I'll come over to my shelf over here where you guys see my rulers all the time, so I don't need to show you that because you guys see that. I'll grab a ruler, obviously not this big huge one, but I just needed a ruler. And I'll lay it on here and then I'll cut it to the size I want. So if I'm making 2.5 inch squares, I'll cut a bunch of 2.5 inch strips, subcut into 2.5 inch squares. If I'm making 5, cut 5 inch strips, subcut into 5 inch squares, depending on how much there is of the fabric. And then once I cut it up, I'll make a stack and I'll just keep going. So I'll stand right here and I'll have cut this up 2.5 inch squares. And then I'll have taken another piece like say this and cut this into say 5 inch squares. So I'll put a 5 inch square stack at 4.5 inch, whatever I need to fill in my buckets. And then I make all the stacks and then I start grabbing my buckets like this and I'll pull all these out of the way, put more 2.5 inch squares there. Then I'll put this tub away and say, oh, I just cut a bunch of 4.5 inch strips. I'll come pick up the pile, put it in here. So this is my tub. I press all fabrics before doing this because these come in a big, huge black trash bag to me, all cut up in random scraps. And then I've also been throwing my own scraps in here over time. It's just kind of gotten really big. It was like probably half this size 6 months ago. But you guys know me, I do so many projects. Like the other day, I was talking with Michelle, which we have a further block coming. And I took these fabrics and I was like, wait a second, this is also I need to make a block, which comes to this storage container over here. When I need to make a block, I cut out what I need and I make a block. Okay, now I'm gonna hide that already because you guys aren't supposed to know. This is actually going to be a layer cake design that we have decided upon. So that was a sneak peek. Like super sneak peek. But yeah, I'll cut out what I need and the rest just gets cut into pre-cuts. And then the good thing, this is for the whole storage and organization part. When you pre-cut all your own fabric and it's already organized and put together, what happens when you want to make something, that fabric is already cut. So if you can't sleep and you don't have the desires, so you don't have the desire to eat food or watch a movie, go into your sewing area and pre-cut all that leftover fabric from projects. That way, when you do feel like sewing, you take that box and say you want to make a bunch of 2.5-inch squares into a 9 patch, or you want to make it to whatever and just make a bunch of scrappy stuff. That's already there. Say you open up a pattern and you went to do it and you messed up a cut and now you don't have enough fabric for it. You go over to your pre-cuts, you grab out the original size square you're supposed to start with, and then you cut it out because you already have it cut. I do not cut pre-cut triangles. Everything just starts out as a square and as a number. So if it's 4.5 and I need a 4 1/8 inch cut, which is very rare, but say I need a 4 1/8, I'll just trim it down to 4 1/8, if that makes any sense. But it's already there. So organizing, keeping it together, and storing it for when you need it is 100%. I highly recommend doing that. If you don't have a way to do that, I would recommend finding a way. If you have a lot of fabric and it's just all sitting in tubs of stuff, just press it all up, cut it all up, and put it away, because you're not going to use it for anything else but a scrap quilt, right? So why not? There's not enough of it to make a big, huge quilt, and there's not enough of it, you know what I mean? If that makes any sense, there's enough of it to make something else and put into something else. So yeah, that's what I do. I just come in here in the middle of the night, the basket stays up on that thing. I pull a couple pieces, so I'll just cut it all up, make stacks, and put it away. It's great organization, let me tell you. And it's heavy. I don't want to have to pick the basket up all the time. As you can hear, it's very heavy. So, okay. Another thing on organizing. You know, when you're cutting things and you have a bunch of little pieces and you need to swipe it somewhere, but you're not sure you want to throw it in the trash because some of the fabric might be usable for something maybe. Get a tub, put a trash bag in it. This is just a Home Depot thing. And put all those pieces in it. So this is all the selvage edges and cuts and stuff. What I do, and I know you guys have heard me say this before, for a quick tip, make dog and cat beds for the animal shelters with this. So you just take your bag, put a bunch of it on the table, take your rotary cutter, chop it all up, and turn it into batting to stuff into dog beds. So I have bags and bags of this stuff out in the garage. I call it my quilter confetti because that's pretty much what it is. I have been putting this, tubbing it up and putting it into bags, and my quilter confetti will become a bunch of dog beds for our local animal shelter. So under my table, you guys have heard me talk about it. There are roll-arounds, more roll-arounds that I have. These are my other cuts that are usable. These are the ones that I can use for strip piecing. They kind of just get thrown in a drawer right here in the top drawer. Let me tip it down. I don't know how well you're going to see that, but see that? It's behind this roll around. There's another roll around on this side, and this got big, huge drawers. And I just throw, you know, if I already pieced something and it didn't come out right, I just kind of throw it in here. It's my, I'll do it later. I don't feel like it now pile. And then I keep more like fabric and stuff in all these. It's hard to get to. And then another one of my little roll arounds for storage, guys. All of my strings that like that fabric that doesn't fit in those tubs, this is all the extra cuts. So if it didn't fit to make anything, if that makes any sense, or anything that's pre-made, like I have a bunch of pre-made strip piecing, so I have stacks of it, you know, that were leftover projects. It all goes in one area. This is all for strip piecing, this drawer specifically. And it's overflowing, obviously. This one's bigger cuts, and some of it's pre-cuts as well, but they weren't regular sizes. Like these are probably like, I don't even think they're 3.5. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. They're like 3 1/8. See what I talk about, those weird numbers? And these are from charm packs that aren't charm packs. These aren't charm squares. These are, again, random numbers. They are 3 inches. So yeah, they just kind of randomly end up here in this drawer. And then more of those strip piecing stuff is in here. And then more junk pre-cuts. And then here's more of those fabric samples. As I said, I have loads of fabric samples. You name it, I have a fabric sample of that line, most likely. That came out a long, long time ago. Who knows, it could be even recent. I'm not sure. But they're pretty. Very, very pretty. And I have loads of them. So this is all more fabric samples. All sorts of stuff. More fabric samples. Randomness. And then more down here of my not fully a half yard cuts, as well as leftover backing from 108 backing. I put those down here too, in case I ever need it for a board or something. Then in here is also, this is, you know, when you cut a quilt up the side of the fabric that came from the sides, I put that because it's already got stuff on it, like from the long arm machine. It's got little like threads and fluff on it from the long arm. So yeah, I just stick all those in there. One of these days I'll de-thread all that, but right now I'm not. So, and then again, you guys see behind me all the time, there's more storage. I keep more bolts here because I ran out of room. I try to keep, I have a little tub right here for finish on Sew Sunday projects. I write on it. This is my started project. I started this in 2018 and I want to finish it on a Sew Sunday. Again, Sew Sunday finish, bolts. Another one of those little tubs I just got at the dollar store. Look at that. Fits perfectly on my shelf right here. Just like that. Everything's nicely in it. More started projects, but this side isn't as organized. Over there in the corner behind my chair where you guys can't see, there's so much junk. So much junk. I should give you guys a quick show and tell, huh? You guys want to see something? You want to see how horrible I was in the beginning? Wait for it. When I first started quilting over 4 years ago now, I had issues. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have proper rulers. I didn't even have a rotary cutter. This is one of the projects I made. I won't be able to show you the whole thing because we are actually, I could probably scoot the camera back now that I'm not working on storage and organization talk. All right. You ready for this one, guys? This is absolutely horrid, but I'm going to quilt it and we're going to use it. This is made of sheets and whatever else I could get my hands on. Like I told you guys in the beginning, I didn't have much, and what I could get was sheets and curtains and junk fabric from clothing, whatever. I made this. It's I call it the pizza quilt because it looks like pizza slices. It's pretty big. It's like twin size. It's never been quilted. It's also made with cheap, what is it called? The like 60-40 poly cotton fabric. Like I couldn't afford anything. So when I did buy fabric, it was cheap stuff because I didn't know. I didn't know the difference. But I will quilt it someday. So yeah, it's got a lot going on and it's horrible, but I made this a long time ago. So there's something from the beginning that you guys would, be surprised how far I've come. Because this is like, I look at it and go, I really made that. I don't even have 1/4 inch seams. I don't even know if you guys can see this. Some are really, really big. Some are not. They're not pressed correctly. That center was a jumbled mess. I really tried. I really did. But I was learning on my own. I didn't even know quilting videos existed on YouTube. That's how far I've come. So this is one of my little projects. We'll use it though. I mean, there's nothing wrong with using blended fabrics. Honestly, scrap quilts back in the day were made with anything, but if you want something to last, you should make it with the good stuff. So yeah, this is one of my, like, this is probably like my fourth. I didn't get good until like my 15th, maybe 20th quilt. It took a long time for it to get good. So there's something you guys will never see anymore because it's put away. All right. All right, guys. So I hope today's video, let's see, make sure that I'm catching everything. Yes, I've come a long way, June. My mom says it all the time. She's like, you know, if I would have known that you were going to be this good, I would have forced you to use the sewing machine when you were a kid. You know, she's like, you just beyond. I've surpassed the ability that you would think only 4 years has gone by. You know, I don't know how. I don't know how it works. I just kind of figured it out in my head, and I'm able to design things. It kind of just comes to me. It's weird. Yes, a good picnic quilt. Exactly. That's why I didn't throw it away. I saved it as someday I'll just throw it on the long arm, put some batting in it. I'll even use a sheet on the backing because I use sheets. I'm not against being cheap. Let me tell you, I'll use sheets, and people say don't use sheet while long arming. Well, guess what? Long arming actually goes so much easier with a sheet on the back or using 108 fabric. When you use something with seams, it's harder. But we'll talk about that in a long arming video in the future. I missed a lot of what you guys had to say. Where do you see you got the polka dot ceramic bin? At a garage sale, it was just sitting in a pot. I have that, and I got like 3 tubs from a garage sale. One I decided to use in here. The other ones are out in the garage being used. It's cool though. It's really neat. And it's heavy, but I decided to put my boutiques in it because it's, you know, it's pretty cute with all the polka dots. By the way, Scott, they said hi to you. I don't know if you saw that. Hi, Michelle. Everyone's saying hi to you guys, Scott. I mean, hi to you guys out there. Scott is saying hi to you guys. Wow, I really screwed that up in my head. He's talking. Justin here is talking to Scott on the phone, though, obviously. All right, guys. So does anybody have any questions or curious about something? I mean, I do have boxes and boxes, but they're nicely hiding in places. So that whole long, like what I said was a TV entertainment, my neighbors gave it to me. Every shelf in here is from a garage sale, or I got it off of Marketplace on Facebook, and or it was on the side of the road in the trash, and or my neighbor gave it to me, which is very heavy. That TV stand thing is super heavy. I don't know what it was for, maybe an old record player, I don't know. But yeah, it was a hassle getting that thing in here. But I had to have it in here. It had my quilting stuff in it, and I like the storage, so. But I mean, if you guys have questions about anything, batting is in the garage, unless it's batting scraps. All of my batting scraps from like big, huge cuts, and I needed, you know, the leftover from the bottom if it was too long. They're in here actually to do small projects with. Table runners. Anytime you guys see me do a table runner, when Justin did his table runner, we had to piece some together. It's in there. The scraps are in the closet where you guys saw the quilts on hangers. That's where the batting is. But the big, huge rolls, I only buy by the big roll. Now that I got my big machine, we only buy the big, huge roll. It is 100% cheaper to buy a big, huge roll than it is to buy one bag enough for one quilt. So, and the last, you know, quilting season, even before I got the new frame and I had my old frame, the last quilting season, I only went through one full 30-yard roll on like 20 I got 22 quilts out of one of the rolls, and I started on another roll. So I got a lot of quilts out of one big, huge, long 30-yard roll. So I definitely buy by the rolls. Yes, I showed how I stored my pre-cuts. I didn't actually cut anything because I don't feel like cutting anything, but I showed you guys what I do to cut things, to put it in my containers. I mean, it's really, really easy. I'm going to pull this out again just so you can see. 5-inch squares. Oh, and here's the oh, this is one thing I did forget. Thanks for reminding me, Michelle, about talking about this. So if I have, okay, see how big this stack is? That's all one color, right? Well, if there is more than 40 pieces of one color, let me grab these. If I have more than 40 pieces of one color, I do this with. I take old fat quarter pieces, you know, the little papers that are in fat quarters, and I write. So there's 43 5-inch squares in that one, and these are a pretty little purple color. I know you guys can't really tell. This one has 49 5-inch squares. This one has 80 of the same print. So if I want to take a 2 charm packs and this, I can make just a big, huge square quilt between something that matches this color that's in here. I have them taped so they don't come apart, but it's like a brown. It's a really pretty brown. So if I want to use this as my backing or make half square triangles, I already have 80 pieces already pre-cut to go with it. See how this works, guys? This is so much easier to pre-cut all your own leftover fabric. This was leftover. I just dropped it. Leftover fabric. Here's more. 48. Here's another one. Blue stripes. 48 of them. I only wrote on it because it's hard to move the paper without my paper tape coming off because I don't have any regular tape. Keep forgetting to get it at the store. So yeah, if it has more than 40 pieces, which is what is usually in charm squares, I just put it in. I put it on the front and the back to hold it, but I keep these together too, totally separate than the tub, if that makes any sense. So yeah, and it goes on the shelf up here with my pre-cuts that are 5-inch squares that you'd buy at the store. I just keep all that together because if I buy one at the store and I go, oh shoot, you know what? I actually have 80 pieces already cut. It matches. Definitely, this. I'm telling you guys, this is the best way to store and organize your own pre-cuts, and they last forever. Like literally. And when you're too old to quilt anymore, because I know when I'm too old, the person that ends up with all this is going to go, oh my God, it's already cut. You know how much stuff I can make as a beginner? Think about it. You know, so if I don't get to use it all, someone else gets already pre-cut stuff. If that, you know, the best way to organize and store. And these tubs are literally from the dollar store. Like I said, I go to my local dollar store. These tubs, you get a lid and a tub. There's 2 tubs and 2 lids here. They're stuck in each other. They're cheap little shoebox storage tubs. Just make sure you get your matching lid, because if you don't, you're going to have a lidless box like my one box. I don't know what happened to the lid either, because I could have swore I had all of them, but there's tons of different ways. But those are the best, and it's the cheapest way to do it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. I have 34 of those tubs all together in this room. That's $34 to store hundreds of dollars of pre-cuts that I've saved money in because I cut up all of my scrap fabric, you know? So definitely. You need me to come to your house. You know, guys, if I could come to all of you and help you guys put things together and situate stuff and make things and quilt things and all that stuff, I would do it. If I had the money to do it, I told you guys my dream. If I had the money to do that and be a traveling quilt teacher, quilt helper, quilt organizer, I would do it, because anything quilting related, hubby tells me to shut up all the time because it's quilt, 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 quilt. That's all I talk about. So rent an RV and do it. Yeah, with what money? And I wouldn't have to rent one. I have lots of family and friends that have RVs. They would probably say, here you go. You just pay for your own gas and pay for it to be fixed. So just bought a stack of those boxes at Walmart, 10 for $8.88. That's even cheaper than the dollar store. See, you know, it works, you guys. It's exactly the best way to store it. So, all right, guys, I've been on here for a while. I didn't think that it would be that long to take me that long to go through this room. Plus, you guys got a tour of my room and how I keep things and a general idea of where it's at and where you guys see me from. Usually those lamps right there, you guys are behind those. So when I say on the other side of the camera, it's usually that way. And you guys are looking at me this way. And right now you guys are in front of the closet. So my room isn't very big. You guys would be surprised how much is in here. I mean, you guys saw this room is only 11 by 12. That's it. And someday I want to knock this wall down and put my long arm in the house. But we just only discussed that. It's not a, we're not sure if we're going to do that, but it's been a discussion. Definitely. Did you see your hold on, I'm missing comments here. Where? Hi, Diane, Teresa, Michelle. Hi, ladies. I'll have to go back and watch to see it. Comments. Did I see your comments? How far back? Oh, man, you guys are killing me. Unless it's on something else, then I'll see it in a little bit because I've been on here. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to get off of here. I appreciate you guys joining, and I really, really, really hope that you guys can take a little bit from this, especially the pre-cut. The pre-cuts. I'm telling you guys, it's been a blast having them already done for me. I mean, I did it. I spent the time, but I'm an insomniac. I have nothing else better to do. So I did that. And since I started doing that, I have found every time I made a mistake or I needed something or I needed just one more strip of a white and I was already out, but I knew my pre-cuts had it. I found it. I already had it. It's there. So that's the best way to do it. I hope you guys figure out your own ways. I mean, you can try my style, but I'm pretty organized. I'm not OCD, but I'm organized. So I hope you guys liked today's video, and I will see you guys maybe through the week, maybe next Sunday. It just depends. So we had a busy week. So I'll see you guys next time, though. Love you all, and bye-bye.